Suicide Squad is a pretty controversial game, with a lot of people saying they're excited and others saying that we could have had 2 good Arkham games within the 9 years they spent twiddling their thumbs and working on Suicide Squad, and are pretty pissed that we're getting this generic shooter rather than the game that we wanted, which is Gotham Knights 2. I'm joking, but here are 5 reasons why you shouldn't buy Suicide Squad. Now, starting off with number 1, this game is obviously not an Arkham game, and I'm sure even Stevie Wonder could have seen this coming. We've had Batman games from the Arkham universe, and this is the first time that we've had something that isn't gonna have that iconic Batman combat. And I know Gotham Knights didn't have that Arkham combat, but honestly I'd rather inhale a canister of Scarecrow's fear toxin than play Gotham Knights. Suicide Squad is completely different, and it's very hard to say if the game's combat will be good or super generic. I'm not saying that Batman Arkham's combat required a high IQ, but I think it was at least really satisfying and responsive. Compare that to Suicide Squad, that seems to be like a popping zit simulator, which honestly looks pretty boring unless there's some sort of variety that they just haven't shown us yet. Maybe when we're fighting the Justice League, it might be a bit better. Traversal is very different from the Arkham games, obviously, and although I do appreciate that the traversal for each characters is unique, it looks kind of boring as well. Harley Quinn's traversal, for example, looks like a rip-off of Marvel's Spider-Man, and no, not Insomniac's Spider-Man, Marvel's Avengers Spider-Man.
You serious?
And honestly, the traversal seems a bit tacked on. I don't know if Harley is known for her grappling, Deadshot for using a jetpack, and Captain Boomerang using the Speed Force. It would seem more fitting if it was a Justice League game with Batman grappling, Superman with flight, and Flash with the Speed Force, so seeing it on these characters seems pretty weird in my opinion. Third reason is the money focused live service, and I hate this a lot about modern games, and this is no exception, as there's so many cosmetics. It could put Call of Duty to shame. You have the option to get the deluxe edition, outfits, special weapons, weapon charms, battle passes, color swatches. It just seems endless for the amount of money you could be pouring into this game, which after paying €70 or €100 is pretty damn frustrating. Rather than having a complete package which gives you well worth DLC add-ons, it prefers to charge you about the same for less. Arkham Knight runs beautifully on my PC maxed out with no real issues, but the way modern games tend to turn out on PC, and optimization seen as an optional feature for developers, I'd say a NASA PC would struggle to run Suicide Squad at a solid frame rate, even with DLSS enabled. Now, I've heard very mixed opinions on the PC port. There is some stutters and that, but with the time delayed, you would pray that this game runs as smooth as butter by now. Then again, the day before was delayed like 7 times, and look how that turned out. Now, the reason I worry about the PC port is that Batman Arkham games have been pretty dodgy, looking at the Arkham Knight at launch and Arkham Origins still to this day. I don't know how they get away with it constantly crashing so much, but I would argue it's not really worth playing anyway. The story is my last issue, and with Paul Dini gone, I think the Arkham series will not be the same. And looking at how terrible Arkham Knight's story was, it doesn't give me much hope for the Suicide Squad, and the fact that they will somehow again make this all about the Joker. I pray to God that they make it as good as Asylum and City Story, but the fact that this is a live service game, which makes me think it will be very open-ended, with characters dipping in and out, and the focus being more on keeping their options open in order to sell more skins and battle passes. Let me know what your thoughts are, and will you be buying? I'll hopefully be doing 5 reasons to buy Suicide Squad, but that list might be a bit harder to do rather than not to buy. Be sure to like and subscribe. That's all for now. My name is Fo, and Slán.